Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz. I am joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we are almost all the way through week 2. This was incredible. This was a crazy week, but also we just finished Sunday Night Football. Craig, how much longer do you think Caleb Williams will live?
It's a good thing his legs are so thick because he had to bench press, or he had to squat like 7 different Texans defenders tonight. He got the shit kicked out of him. He looked kind of relieved for when the game was over, like walking to meet CJ
Right.
Stroud in the middle of the field. That was brutal.
36,
I can't believe
Craig, 36 pressures on 37 pass attempts.
it's a miracle that game was a one possession
How did that
game.
happen?
Yeah, so the Texans just beat the Bears 19-13. DK, have you ever considered quiet quitting this show the way DJ Moore kind of just started walking away from all the passes that Caleb Williams bounced to him?
Yeah, we were texting during the game. There were some weird vibes going on with DJ Moore. I think obviously they were frustrated about, or he was frustrated about like not getting the ball enough, and there's a couple of inaccurate passes there at the end of the game. But like he went out on like a key third down on the second to last drive. I was like, dude, get in there.
DJ Moore,
You got to keep the drive going.
DJ Moore looked like he was exactly as mad as he was when like Sam Darnold was throwing passes to him like a few years ago. But DJ Moore knows that Caleb Williams is like his last shot at a good quarterback. So he's just like bottling it all up and inside, and it's going to explode at some point.
It was tough. It was a tough game all around. The offensive line was a major problem. Caleb Williams still not seeing things clearly, still not super accurate. Probably trying to do too much. And that's where I think some of the 2 picks came into play. Especially that second pick where he just like threw it into triple coverage. But yeah, this offense is terrible. I can't believe they're still in the game. I can't believe they had a chance to do a game-winning drive.
I mean, same thing happened last week. The offense was terrible, and they ended up winning the game. Today, it looked like Caleb was a nervous player trying to act calm.
Right.
You could see him telling
pressures,
himself.
Craig. 36 pressures.
He wasn't like because he looked calmer today, but he didn't look naturally calm. It looked like right before every snap, he was like calm, be calm.
Also, shout out to Matt Harmon at Yahoo. Tweeted out the everyone who was like, "Oh wow, the Caleb Williams going to the best situation ever for a number 1 pick," and it's like, wow, that situation looks like shit.
It turns out Shane Waldron can ruin anything.
Yeah, it's like because look, I think the defense with Matt Eberflus as head coach is really good, but the offense again, I keep going back to the Jackson Smith and Jigba quote when they were like, "Hey, what do you think of Shane's offense?" He's like, "Are we live?"
That's the best answer to a question.
Are we live?
Do you like? I don't understand why did they decide to hire Shane Waldron of all people? Where did this decision come from? Like the Seahawks literally were just like, "Yeah, you can go. That's fine."
I just think like, most defensive coordinators have very poor taste in offensive coordinators.
Yeah, they just want guys who will like do ball control stuff. There were so many just Mickey Mouse plays throughout the game, like little screens that were going nowhere. I will say, like, for people that were talking, obviously the best situation for a first overall quarterback, that take is not really aging well. But Keenan Allen did not play in this game. Rome Odunze has a sprained MCL. He's not healthy. DJ Moore taking plays off because he's so mad.
DK Moore's doing his job. DJ Moore is.
I love DJ Moore. DJ Moore's been like one of my favorite players, but like the fact that he went out on a key third down when they were still in the game, I was like, "What are you doing?"
Well, he was crazy.
Go in there.
He was so calm when he walked away. He was just like he looked like a kid who was like I've never seen a receiver so angry, but just like balled up his fist and like slowly walked away.
He took off his helmet while laying on the ground after the incomplete pass.
Yeah.
He didn't have any time to get up.
He was just like internally in pain.
Don't you guys think in general though? I mean, the Texans we obviously still feel decent about, but I actually think I'm long on the Bears. I do think that this is a good team, a really talented team. I think the defense is awesome. I thought Caleb looked significantly better today, even though it was a rough day. Like I am still buying stock in the Bears, I think.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, everything with Caleb you want to see is there. It's just the offensive line sucks. And I think that like we were like, oh yeah, it'd be so sick if they had Rome Odunze. And it's like, yeah, they, probably could have taken like Olo Fashanu, who like, they went to high school with Caleb Williams. But
you know who is probably the most relieved man in the world tonight? David Tepper, owner of the Carolina Panthers, who this had like the potential to be one of the worst nightmare matchups you could imagine. Like if Caleb Williams and CJ Stroud had played well right off the bat of watching Bryce Young literally just not look like he could ever resemble remotely an NFL quarterback, like that could have been really bad. So I'm just glad David Tepper, he dodged a bullet on this one tonight. He's probably fine. He's not going to like go out and have anyone killed tonight or anything like that. So Yeah, feeling good for David Tepper right now.
Do you think we could get Tep on the pod?
Well, DK
probably not
wears
now.
hats. He probably knocked DK's hat off.
Oh yeah, that's
Virtually? Yeah.
I forgot
hat
about
doesn't-
that.
Just comes on the show and just. I still think that's the wildest thing that like I'm still trying to like I always imagine just knocking a stranger's hat off their head.
Rich
Start
people,
a
man.
conversation.
Rich people do some wild shit.
It's unbelievable. Okay, and then the Texans. I just wanted before we get off this. I thought Collinsworth kind of nailed it at the end, where it's just they had 12 fucking flags and the Texans. I thought this to me was like Houston's last preseason game.
Yeah.
Like I think we now look at week 1 and 2, and like to me, like 12 flags. I'm like Houston. I'm like okay, other than Nico Collins, everyone can be ready next week.
Yeah. I got to say, after watching Brady announce, it really makes you appreciate Collinsworth. Collinsworth is really good at his job.
He's
I
really
think
good.
always-
I see
he's
why
great.
he strong-armed them to hire his son for the pregame because he's really
Yeah,
good.
look, I get it.
Package deal.
Yeah.
Did you think Brady was bad today?
I
I thought
thought
he
he
was
was
a little bit better.
a little bit better, but I think
Yeah.
he's pretty stiff, and I don't think he brings the like predictive stuff in the same way that Romo does. And it's just like his general color stuff to me is just pretty flat. I don't know.
Yeah, Brady sounds sober.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to be too professional about it almost.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like he's like a vampire who isn't like a fun person to hang around.
Yeah, he's
You know what I
announcing like
mean?
he played quarterback
Yeah,
a little bit. He's like trying to be too meticulous, and it's like, hey, loosen up a little bit. It's all right.
Exactly. All right.
Move around the
All right.
pocket.
So we're gonna go. He's gonna make plays out of structure. All right. So we're gonna go through a bunch of categories here, and we're just gonna go through, and we're gonna do something fun, and you'll see at some point. But email us. We're gonna do a fun thing from now on, where on Sundays, if you email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com, you can join in on Sunday. So we're gonna read a couple emails that people send us or comments. We have Instagram now, Ringer Fantasy Football. TikToks,
Yeah,
comments,
baby.
leave comments, boom, all that stuff. Follow us on Instagram at Ringer Fantasy Football, TikTok at Ringer Fantasy Football, and then if comments, we're gonna take those and we're gonna drop them on this show on Sundays going forward. So
And DK, I have we announced this yet? Did you launch your OnlyFans yet or no? Your fantasy
Yeah.
football OnlyFans?
Craig, no, I haven't yet.
Only fantasy?
Keep
You
it
haven't
on
done
the
that?
deal. Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's OnlyFans. Yeah, it's off.
Only fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, calling it off coverage.
All right. TikTok was stage 1. OnlyFans is next. Stay tuned.
All right, so DK,
Yeah.
yeah, that's OnlyFans at Ringer Fantasy Football. Should we make that? Fuck, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. I actually heard OnlyFans is trying to branch out from just like porn.
We should just claim. Well,
They're like trying to promote like stand-up comedy.
Football porn.
Yeah. Other workout content. Not that kind of workout, actual workout.
Bulking season. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we should just claim it on OnlyFans and then
Yeah.
Gains.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, DK. Who won other than us? Who won week 2?
The Saints, who are apparently a buzzsaw now. I don't know what to think of this whole Saints thing. Obviously, in week 1, they just demolished a really bad Panthers team. But this week, they took out the Cowboys in Dallas, 44-19. Like it was never even
They
remotely close.
handled them.
Yeah. The Saints, going back even to last week combined, had scored points on their first 15 possessions. They are averaging 32.5 points in the first half of games. And I think their offense has been really fun to watch. Like it has all the telltale signs of the Shanahan style with Clint Kubiak, marrying the run game with the play action pass, like big plays, tons of motion, scheming guys open, getting them involved, moving people around the formation, cool players doing cool things. Alvin Kamara looks absolutely rejuvenated, looks incredible. Rashid Shaheed might be the real deal. I don't know. Chris Olave had a little bit better day today. Even Taysom Hill is still doing some crazy stuff here and there, moving around, like playing fullback, playing receiver, playing running back, whatever. The big question I have coming off of this game, or the second game where they've been really, really good, is how fucking bad was Pete Carmichael at calling plays and designing an offense?
The old offensive coordinator.
Where did this come from? All you needed is like a guy who worked with Kyle Shanahan, and all of a sudden, I guess he's been around football forever too. But like, man, Kubiak might be the real deal, and this offense looks insane.
This has to be up there with one of the more shocking developments in the first 2 weeks of the NFL in a long, long time.
Yeah,
I mean, the Saints have the 4th most points through 2 games in NFL history.
wow.
That's fucking
What the
crazy.
fuck is going on?
That's fucking crazy. I mean, I think I was more wrong about the Saints than anything in the entire season.
Everybody
so far.
was.
And so, I mean, I really kind of thought that there was a chance they would just drop off. And I think, we knew that the offense would be certainly more interesting than coming into the year. You know what I mean? But I think I still lacked the imagination it could be this good. I mean, they didn't hit it, but I don't care. They had a shot. So they scored 44 points today. They 44-19, as you guys said. It wasn't even close to that close. The Saints almost scored 47 points for 3 games in a row between the last game of last season and then each of these 2 games. The last team to score 47 points in 3 straight games was the 2007 Patriots.
Oh, geez.
And they came within a field goal of doing that. Like, what the fuck? Like, Gary Kubiak's son just comes in and is like, that's the crazy thing. They haven't even added any fucking players. They got worse.
You know what's funny? Don't you remember? Was it 2 years ago? When did the whole too high boom thing like put a roof on the offense thing start? 2021.
When they let Russ cook.
Russell Wilson's fault. Yeah.
When they let Russ cook, right?
They're like, okay, we can't have this anymore.
Remember how we were just like, it can't be that simple. Like, it can't just be like too high and then all these offenses are ruined. Doesn't it kind of feel like that with motion now? Like, anytime an offense is good, it's like Clint Kubiak brought the Saints out of the Stone Age, last in motion, first in motion, and it just like immediately fixes any offense.
I think the way I wish we had explained the too high thing was that it's not about the too high. It's about when we grew up, it was like a 4-3 defense or 3-4 defense. Either way, it doesn't matter. That's 7 people. And just the idea that there's 11 guys in the field, there's 4 for the pass. I mean, obviously everyone plays run or pass, but it's like there's 4 guys for passing, 7 for the run. And it's like, now it's 5 for the pass. Like, it's just, they're taking another guy and putting him for the pass. But the motion thing, there is an element of it, of like, why the fuck were we always doing this? Like, oh yeah, if you do the motion, it's kind of this thing that you can always tell if they're man or zone. And then, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you get to actually like, it's almost like, Madden when you hold the right trigger down and you can like see the play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost kind of like that, or like Tiger Vision when you're putting in the video game. And like, yeah, why weren't we fucking doing this all the time?
I just love when there's like a league-wide trend that like fans can easily comprehend. And it's still like it's screwing up defenses, and all of us are like, oh yeah, just like run motion. That's it. And it's working.
It really does feel that simple.
You're like,
I know that it's probably not, but it really does feel that simple. Like, guess what? If you make it a little bit harder for the defense, you're going to do better. Like, am I wrong? If you make it a little bit harder for the defense, you will have a better offense.
Yeah,
you know how
good.
you make
like,
it?
Is it that simple? I think it is that simple.
Also, if you explain it to someone who doesn't really get football, it's even funnier because it's like, so you have to wait till the ball snaps to move. And they're like, but now we're moving before the snap. You're like, well, why didn't you always fucking do that?
Yeah, it's like now you can kind of have a little bit of a head start.
Like, why wouldn't you do that all the time? But yeah, no, the Saints are amazing.
Okay, so the Saints have the Eagles next week. Does it all come crashing down? Do they turn back into a pumpkin? What are we thinking? Is this real?
I mean, look, after doing this to Dallas in Dallas and beating them by 25 points, I think I'm not going to write them off against anybody at this point, right?
Right.
Even Alvin Kamara, who's my winner of the week, who had 4 touchdowns, which is the most since his 6 touchdown game from Christmas of 2020. He ruined my Christmas. I was in a fantasy championship that week. And
people don't forget.
Yeah. I was actually driving from the Bay to LA on Christmas Day and was on my phone getting notifications. And I thought it was a glitch on my phone. I was like, this can't be right. 6. And pretty much the same thing happened today. I think he had 3 in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were you also driving from the Bay today?
I was.
So just every time you drive from the Bay to LA, Alvin Kamara scores 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I got to start drafting Kamara and then commuting from the Bay to LA every Sunday.
It was also against Mike Zimmer too. Mike Zimmer hasn't coached in years, and then he comes back and he's the Cowboys guy, and Alvin Kamara is still just like running up the score on him.
Oh my God, it was. Holy shit.
Yeah, third best fantasy day of Alvin Kamara's career. I love Kamara, man. He's so awesome. Still looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Legs look evenly weighted.
Yeah, super even. Symmetrical.
He's got like this very special running style. He's the only guy I've ever seen do. Well, maybe not the only guy, but he'll take the handoff and almost just like he hits the strafe button on accident.
Yeah.
Have you noticed this? Where he just like instead of running straight forward, he just takes the handoff and goes whoop and like strafes laterally.
Yeah,
and he gains like 4 yards immediately. I don't understand how he does it. He's so explosive.
Now that we're on TikTok, I can make this reference. You know that like style of video where the camera locks in on the subject, so the subject is always in the middle of the frame, and it kind of looks weird. That's how Kamara runs to me, where he's like always centered and balanced. It's like when you golf, when you swing, right? You're like, you're not supposed to move your head. I feel like Kamara's head is perfectly still, and his body is doing everthing else.
His head's a steady cam.
Yeah, he runs like he is operating a steady cam. That's perfect.
He's camera operator.
Yeah. He did the tracking shot in True
Kamara.
Detective. That was Kamara.
Kamara operator.
Wow.
Fuck.
Steady Kamara.
Steady Kamara.
Steady Kamara.
Fuck,
I don't know. There's something.
There's something there.
Write that down. Right.
Yeah. Keep workshopping it.
Yeah. Right. All right. My winner this week. I just Red Zone channel.
Oh.
Red Zone channel. They do the 2-week free trial, and if you had a 2-week free trial and you watch today, you're hooked. You're gonna keep the Red Zone. Ringer Fantasy, baby, on YouTube TV. What an unbelievable day for the 1 p.m. Eastern, that early slate. 10 games. They pull out the fucking Deca box. 8 of the games were 1-score games. Also, yeah, I feel like just
10 games is too many.
10 games too many.
Terrible.
What are we
I
doing?
was overwhelmed. I was getting like anxiety. There's too many games, but 8 of them were close. Literally 8 of the games in the 2-minute warning, they were 1-score games. Everything except the Chargers-Panthers game and the Saints game was like really close. I don't know. I thought it was a big day for Reds.
Yeah.
Scott Hansen did a good job.
We were shockingly not paid to make that last. Hyvis was not paid to say any of that. He genuinely just loves Red Zone.
No, they
channel. That's a free ad.
And along those lines, I don't like Red Zone. So
see, we're definitely not paid to say
Should we bleep that? Should we bleep
maybe.
it?
DK, come on. Red Zone is objectively great.
Yeah, what do you mean you don't like it?
I don't like Red Zone. I find that you can't keep track of what's happening in any of the games.
No, that's what it's for.
For not keeping track of what's happening?
No, it is literally for keeping track of everything. They show you every single score.
They show you all the scores, but I don't understand. I don't.
They show you every touchdown. They show
like
you
you
every
can't
single score.
You can't get a good grasp of like what's happening in any given game. And
yeah, all the scores.
You don't know what happened in any of the games.
It's within the context of what came before, and you lose the context.
We live in the context. What does she say?
All the scores come within the context of what came before. Right. No, really though, you do lose it.
If you want to try to stay up to date with what's going on, you kind of have to listen to it because Hansen does tell you how a team got there, and they'll do like quick like recaps and stuff like that. But if you're not really paying attention and you're not listening, it is really hard because all you're seeing is like teams when they're on the 10-yard line. Super fun though, gotta say. It's like all ice cream, no vegetables.
Yeah. All right, DK. Any other winners?
One last thing: the legacy of the 2018 NFL Draft. So first of all, Baker Mayfield, top pick, went to the Browns. Sam Darnold, third pick, went to the Jets. Here it is, 2024, and both of these guys are playing extremely well for their new teams. Several teams down the line, in fact. Baker Mayfield basically had the game-winning play late in the third quarter against the Lions. I think it was a designed run, or it looked like it kind of. Scooted around, made it into the end zone, gave the Buccaneers the lead that they kept for good. And yeah, he's looked really, really impressive. Like distributing the football, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, not making too many mistakes. It's been really impressive so far from Mayfield.
He juked out a linebacker.
Yeah, it was like a crazy good run. And also it's just like, I feel like Dave Canales got so much credit for what Mayfield did last year. It's like maybe Mayfield was just good actually. And then Sam Darnold also looked pretty good. He had an incredible, I like to call it 100-yard pass to Justin Jefferson. It was technically 97 yards, but he let go of it from the end zone. 100-yard play against the 49ers to upset the 49ers. Yeah, he also had a pretty good day. He's looking more and more legit. This is fits into that Saints thing where I'm like, okay, he just beat the 49ers.
And also Justin Jefferson got hurt in the game and he still went down and had the game-winning drive. And so Jordan Addison missed this game. TJ Hawkinson. I mean, Justin Jefferson.
He's thrown to Jalen Naylor. And KJ Osborne.
Jalen Naylor was the best freaking receiver on the field when Darnold, you know what I mean? Toward the end of the game. And so I don't know. I really did think Darnold would be all right. And again, I was never saying Sam Darnold was going to be an MVP candidate. I certainly didn't think Darnold was going to start necessarily as well as he would. I just thought Darnold would have such a good supporting cast around him with a good system that he'd be able to succeed. I wasn't sure that if you took all the supporting cast around him and just the system would work, but he made the whole thing work. So I don't know. In a way, he's actually exceeded what I thought he'd be able to do. But Sam Darnold.
Josh Allen was also in that draft, and he's doing okay.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job. And Lamar Jackson, who's also done okay. 2 MVPs. But, these other guys are doing good too now. So it's great.
All right. Who lost week 2? All the 0-2 teams.
They literally lost. Yeah.
They did literally lose, but they also spiritually lost. So ESPN had the stat this morning. All the last 5 seasons, teams that start 0-2 have a 5% chance of making the playoffs. And that was a weirdly big deal this week because there were 6 games between teams that were 0-1, which has never happened before. There were actually more games of 0-1 teams versus 0-1 teams than any week in NFL history. And so there were 6 different games that were basically just that scene in the Dark Knight where the Joker just breaks the pool cue and is like, we're having tryouts. Because if you win, you have a 45% chance to make the playoffs. And if you lose, you have a 5% chance. And so the teams, I think, look, some teams suck. The Giants, we can get to it a little bit, but the Giants, no one thought they were good. I think that the teams that just devastating days, Bengals, Ravens, Rams, starting 0-2 for different reasons are all just crushing. I kind of want to start with the Bengals. Chiefs, game of the year. Chiefs escaped 26-25.
Game of the year.
Game of the year. Chiefs, Bengals, it's the best rivalry in the NFL right now. It was a crazy game, honestly. Harrison Butker, game-winning field goal, 51-yard field goal as time expired. I think all the time about a tweet that's like every time Harrison Butker makes a kick, I kind of like turn to my wife and I just like make a noise that so she knows that I disapprove.
Yeah.
And the Alonzo Mourning, there's someone also had the Alonzo Mourning meme of just like, man, when Harrison Butker makes a kick, but then Taylor's team wins, and it's just like,
there's a lot going on in KC. A lot of characters, man. You got Kelsey and Swift. Then there was like the Taylor and the Brittany Mahomes thing because of the Trump versus the Kamala thing. You got Mahomes having to speak about it. You got Harrison Butker. There's just it's like the 90s Bulls, and they're holding it all together and they're winning Super Bowls, man.
It is theater. It is crazy. It does feel like a real time capsule, like watching the Chiefs right now. It is really. They're in the zeitgeist. It's kind of insane. And then they cut to commercial, and it's fucking Kelsey's brothers and all the commercials. Like, it really is weird. Like,
he just sold his podcast company for like $100 million. He's starring in a movie next year. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. Harrison Butker's probably giving more speeches.
Exactly. Yeah. He's on the Hillary Clinton speech.
He'll have a pod soon.
Exactly. Yeah. Him and Jordan Peterson. DK, did you agree on, Mahomes, first of all, second fewest pass yards of Mahomes' career in this game. And then
151.
But even then, it's really the fewest because the one where he had less was actually the one where he got hurt. So really it was the fewest pass yards of Mahomes' career. And then 4th and 16, tosses it up, they pull his pass interference out of his ass. Did you agree with the pass interference call on the 4th and 16 that kind of won them the game?
I mean, unfortunately, it looked like the right call. Like, he got there a little early, knocked the guy in the back, disrupted the catch point. I don't know.
What's the meme? Like, oh no, the worst person you knew just made a great point. It's kind of like, oh no, like the ref made the right call at the end of the game. Right. I can't blame the ref because it was a PI. He got there a few seconds early.
He hit the back of his head with his forearm, and I'm like, yeah, it feels like that interferes with the pass.
Let's try and imagine a world in which that was legal.
Yeah. All right, so if we're all in the same, I just never assume anymore. Ever since you guys argued with me about the Kadarius Toney offsides, I never assume we'll agree about a call ever again, especially involving the Chiefs. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought the Chiefs. I mean, frankly, and I know I don't know how I've become the anti-Bengals person just for trying to just talk about stuff.
It's just all reps, just repetition.
I thought Burrow played well, but like, let's be real, this was more of a loss for the Bengals than it was a win for the Chiefs. Like, this was absolutely like snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And like, this is crushing. Like the Bengals are just, it's like, it's Joe Burrow 0-2. Like, they're 0-2 again. And then you look at this Bengals team and you're like, I actually think the offense was all right. The defensive line is fucking decimated. But it's actually more than that because decimated's 1 out of 10. I think that they're at like 5 out of 10. Like, half their defensive linemen are hurt. They're like the Rams offensive line of defensive lines. And I don't know. I just look at Cincinnati. I don't know. I mean, the only silver lining I feel like is that the Ravens are also 0-2.
Steelers first place in the AFC North. 2-0.
Let's say the Steelers. The Steelers are somehow 2-0, and the Ravens and the Bengals are both.
Haven't even played a home game yet. 2-0.
Remember, like a couple weeks ago, Craig, when you were complaining about how they needed to burn it all down and start, like maybe fire Tomlin and start from scratch?
Okay, that was in the take purge. I have no memory of that. I was told I said that.
Maybe I don't remember it either. Yeah. Just classic. Classic shit.
The Bengals seemed really upset to lose this game. Did you guys see Burrow and Mahomes' interaction after the game at midfield?
No. Oh, it was like a half a second. Yeah.
Yeah. Burrow didn't even make eye contact. Mahomes gave him like a quick whatever, and Burrow literally didn't even look at him.
Wow.
So shout out Ben Baby at ESPN who reported. I think that he tweeted this. I think that that post game, just Burrow after this game was as upset as I've seen Joe Burrow after any loss he's had in his entire career, including the Super Bowl.
Do you think there's a narrative more so than any other team that the refs are helping the Chiefs?
Yeah, but like, I mean, don't people
or is it just
that,
like good teams win close games and people are pissed about it?
I think it's the latter because I think
you
that
make
like
your own luck. Yeah.
I would be more partial to the idea that the refs are. It's not the refs help Mahomes, but it's like that they get calls. If literally 10 days ago in that Week 1 opener, Mahomes was shoved on the sideline, he had 2 feet out of bounds, got shoved by Roquan Smith and didn't get a flag. And that was like in the second half. And I'm like, I don't know. That was literally in the opener. So I'm like, I think that just he's in the weird spirit where he's like Tom Brady, where it's just like they're just, if you make any mistakes, they're gonna snatch the life out of you. It's crazy. I will say, speaking of the Ravens, though, I actually think the Ravens are more disappointing than the Bengals. Frankly, at least the Bengals, like they've been here and they could be like, all right, fuck it, we'll have to do this shit again. The Ravens are 0-2 for the first time in 9 years. The Ravens lost at home to the Raiders 26-23. Baltimore lost outright as an 8.5 point favorite. But by betting market, third biggest loss in Ravens history by how big of a betting favorite they were. And then the next 3 games for Baltimore are Dallas, Buffalo, and Cincinnati.
Ooh.
I mean, Baltimore, there's a world where Baltimore could be like 1-4.
They could be 0-5.
They could be 0-5. That's also how math works. Yeah, that's true. No, but I think it's actually pathetic that they lost this game because, one, I couldn't believe this. The Raiders had 4 rushing yards in the first half, which is the fewest the Raiders have had in a game since 1995. And they fucking won. And the Raiders were down 10 points in the fourth quarter. The Raiders were 0-49. In their last 49 games, they were down 10 points in the fourth quarter.
This is like talking about this coming off of the Chiefs discussion. The thing that stands out to me about this is like, this is why it's so incredibly important and so incredibly rare for a really, really good team to keep all its coaching staff like the Chiefs did, where they kept Spags. Despite like them having a very, very good offense, for some reason, no one wants to hire him away anymore. He's just like content to stay there. That's why it's so crucial. And the Lions too are another example of a team that have that advantage this year. But it's like, Mike McDonald is doing really well in Seattle so far. They're 2-0. Like obviously like their games have not been necessarily pretty, but the brain drain that happens when you have what was one of the best teams of all time, like according to DVOA last year, like you lose some very key people in your organization, and that can really make a big difference here. Like giving up that fourth quarter lead, I that's the first thing that comes to my mind is like the coaching is just not the same. Like that hurts them to lose that such a key coach, like such a good coach.
The other team that I think was just absolutely honestly, the Rams are 0-2. They were throttled. They lost 41-10 to the Cardinals today. I feel like their season feels over.
Yeah, I mean, they're the most beat up team in the league. These poor guys. I mean, Cooper Kupp was in a boot. Puka's obviously out. It's everybody, but Stafford's just like left standing alone in like a decimated wasteland.
And McVay has no problem playing him deep into the fourth quarter either, even though they're losing by 30-something points with like 8 minutes left. The Rams feel like they're going the way of Ned Stark. Like spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, like we're just killing off a main character really early in the show. They just have so many injuries. How are they going to get past this? Like I think the thesis for the Rams for me coming into the season was like, yeah, they can compete and they can be really good after losing Aaron Donald if they don't lose any more of their key players. And then they immediately lost like all of them. All the offensive linemen are hurt. They have a starting cornerback that's hurt. Puka and Cooper Kupp are hurt. It's only so long. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not going to say it, but like, how long is Kyron Williams going to last? Especially if they're running him into the ground in the fourth quarter, down 30 points. Like, it just feels like they've got the rug pulled out from them, and now they're just like screwed.
Yeah, they're in a brutal situation, especially in this division now. Like, now that the Cardinals look legitimate, the Seahawks are playing great. Obviously, the Niners are there. This could get ugly really fast for the Rams.
I think it already did. They were down 21. There was a point in this game where the Cardinals had 21 points and the Rams had 15 yards.
Right. I guess they already have a 5% chance of making the playoffs.
I think it already got fucking ugly fast. Oh my God. Holy shit. All right. Any other losers? Or you guys want to keep rolling here?
I'd like to just flick at the Colts. Shane Steichen and Gus Bradley. Everything that went on today in Green Bay in this Colts Packers game. Today. The Colts lost 16-10 to Malik Willis and the Packers. The Colts gave up 473 rushing yards in the first 2 weeks of the season. Last week was the leading rusher, Joe Mixon. This week, the leading rusher, Josh Jacobs. They scored 10 points today. They had the ball for 6 minutes and 55 seconds in the first half. Malik Willis had the second highest passer rating of the day. He was checking down the whole game. They couldn't do anything about it. They ran all over them. Anthony Richardson had 3 interceptions. It was an embarrassing performance across the board. None of the receivers could catch on the Colts. It was a disaster.
I don't
also,
say this
by the way, DeForest Buckner and Leatu Latu both got hurt in this game.
Yeah. I don't say this lightly. I don't really understand why Gus Bradley has like a job. I don't understand why Gus Bradley has a defensive coordinator job. Like the Colts, all the Packers were going to do entering this game was run the ball. Like Malik, like literally, I just assumed the Colts are going to go and be like, obviously we will force Malik Willis to throw for us to be successful. And Matt LaFleur just ran circles around them the entire time.
They had like 140 yards rushing in the first quarter.
Here's how I feel about the Colts. I honestly, it's like, I love them, but they're not serious people. Like that's Indianapolis today. All right. The I Am Become Death Oppenheimer Award for the player who went nuclear. Obviously, this is Kamara.
What, 43 points? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, 4 touchdowns, 180 yards. That'll do it. We talked about the Saints. All right. It's so over, or we're so back. There's only one answer here. We're so back. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, we're so back.
He's going to be fine, guys.
We're so back.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
We've never been more back.
We've never been more back. We never will be more back. Marvin Harrison Jr. was the #1 scoring wide receiver of the week before the first quarter ended. Like,
did he have any catches after the first quarter?
He slowed down. He only had 4 catches on the day, I think.
He 4 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. I believe he did all of that in the first quarter, but like he basically had Justin Jefferson's entire stat line with like 12 minutes into the game.
Yeah. So he's played 1 good quarter and 7 bad quarters.
Nice. Just great spin. Great
just
spin.
Saying. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, he looks awesome.
He went from last week, he was the wide receiver 104. And this week he was the wide receiver 1. That has to be the biggest jump in the history of fantasy football. For a guy who played both games, the full game, wide receiver 104, wide receiver 1.
Fuck, I'm so in awe of what DK just did. I so wish I'd been like, hey, 1 good quarter.
No, to me, this is just like the perfect example of how we overreact to every single thing that happens ever in our football lives. Like, it reminds me of, you remember the Jamar Chase rookie year? We were talking about how he can't catch a ball because it doesn't have the stripes on it. And then Justin Jefferson he was like playing behind, I don't know, was it KJ Osborne or somebody? I can't even remember. It wasn't KJ Osborne for the first 2 weeks of the season. And then it went on to like have, I don't know, 1,400 yards or whatever it was.
Kenny Pickett looked like Drew Brees last year in the preseason.
We need to just like take a breath sometimes and just like calm down.
This was an incredible tweet from Tony Holzman. Marvin Harrison Jr. had more receiving yards in the first quarter in week 2 than his dad, Marvin Harrison Sr. had in any single game as a rookie in 1996.
Wow. Hall of Fame. He's on his way.
Pretty good.
My It's So Over is Isaiah Likely. That was fast, but it's so over. That was fun. I hope people didn't bid too much money on him because he had 2 catches for 26 yards. He had 3.5 points. And he didn't like completely become irrelevant in the offense, but it was clear that Mark Andrews was once again the guy running the most routes, playing more snaps, getting more targets. Likely ran a route on like 50% of the dropbacks. So yeah, it might be over. That was fun, but it's really hard to sustain 2 top 10 tight ends in an offense. It doesn't happen much. And we tried to say that.
Does it bug you at all? Like, it bugs me that the fact that they only played him 50% of snaps in this game. Like, he was clearly your best player on offense last game. What's a good plan that takes that guy and sits him down on the sideline for half of the play?
Well, he only has one shoulder now.
He was not on the injury report all week. I don't know. To me, this is always like something that just fundamentally bugs me about coaches is like, yeah, he looked like a absolute superstar in week 1. Almost won you the game. Should have won you the game, really. And then you come out the next week and like he's not a big part of the game plan. I just don't understand that. I don't get it fundamentally.
Well, they lost to the Raiders, so maybe you're right.
I feel like the proof is in the pudding that maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe like play him more than 50% of the snaps. He's really good. Give him the ball a lot. I don't know. It's just a thought. Maybe use motion. Maybe make it harder for the defense.
Motion.
Head start. You get a head start. You can tell what the defense is doing, and you get a head start.
Play likely. Use motion. I could be a coach.
You could be the coach. I'll be the GM.
And I'll be the quarterback.
We're going to be running motion on every play. And we're gonna throw to likely on every play.
Honestly, the more I'm like, damn, Mahomes and Belichick, I really could be a GM. I would just get it out of the way. All right. Next up, it's so over here. DK, you sent us this quote from Bryce Young, and I lost my shit. I thought it was fake.
Well,
are we sure? Is this real?
Is this real? Fake or real? I don't actually know. There was.
I hope it's real. I thought it was fake when you said it to me, but I assumed
there's a tweet from Sheena Quick who just it says, asked about his confidence. Bryce Young says his confidence is in the Lord.
We're cooked.
It's so over. We're done. We're done.
Time of death. 1:18 p.m. Eastern.
I mean, we're laughing about it, but like it is truly over for Bryce Young. I feel like we're so over.
So Bryce Young had the most completions ever under 100 yards, like period. Like
so he had the most completions with fewer than 100 yards of any quarterback ever.
So his actual line, it sounds. What's funny? You know what's bad? Remember when we joked that Devon A. Chan's like rushing numbers seem like receiving numbers? Bryce Young's passing numbers sound like rushing numbers.
Yeah.
He had 18 completions for 84 yards. That sounds like I think
it's like a solid day for Miles Sanders.
Yeah. Jordan Mason at 20 carries for like 100 yards. So Bryce Young's out here there's nothing even like that a little. The closest I could find is people who had like 15 completions under 90. And the list of people who did that is literally Josh Rosen, who we can't find his LinkedIn. Sam Bradford's like second to last game of his career, and Joey Harrington. And those are the people who did that in the 21st century. So that's the company Bryce Young is in. And I also want to shout out the stat that our own Austin Gale had. And I was flabbergasted by this. Success rate, which again, success rate is just like a fancy word for like, if you get 2 yards on 1st and 10, that's not very successessful. Mm-hmm. And if you get 8 yards on 1st and 10, that's successful. So it's just, what is the rate of like how successful you're playing? How often are you like succeeding on a play, getting enough yards that was good? The Panthers offense is succeeding on 25% of their plays through 2 weeks, which is, I couldn't believe this. It is the lowest success rate through the first 2 games of a season since the expansion Houston Texans in 2002. Wow.
The wheels have completely come off on this. It's snowballing really, really poorly. I can't even like explain it. It's like worse than the Zach Wilson thing somehow. Like their offense works less well than the Zach Wilson offense, which I obviously did not see this coming. The problem with Young, and I think when you compare it, like a lot of rookie quarterbacks, a lot of young quarterbacks, 1st and 2nd year quarterbacks struggle, but like he just doesn't feel like he's physically capable of getting better. You know what I mean? Like he's just so small. He's so small. He just doesn't have. He can't play in the NFL. It feels like. That's really how it feels. Honestly,
no, I don't know why that felt mean when it was objective, but like
But maybe it's like.
But you're right.
We talked about it in the pre-draft process. We all overrated him because he was, really wily and able to like escape pressure and all this stuff. But he is and remains a absolute outlier at the quarterback position. No one his size has ever been picked in the 1st round, not to mention 1st overall.
At least they didn't like give up a lot for him.
God, You said that so deadpan.
Cut Baker Mayfield and Darnold for this motherfucker. So they got rid of, because that's the thing. Because we always say, oh, they got rid of, Caleb and Jalen Carter and DJ Moore. But we should add Baker and Darnold under that count now.
Yeah.
Are there still outstanding picks waiting to happen?
No, I think it's
from
over.
this trade, or is it over? Who's the backup there? Darnold? Not Darnold.
It's Dalton.
Andy Dalton.
Dalton is what I meant to say.
We got an
Who
email
plays-
from somebody. I forgive me, I don't remember your name, but somebody who was at the Panthers game, and they were like, "Man, like it's been so bad. People are chanting for Dalton. Like it's a disaster here."
That's a catastrophe.
Austin Gale is saying that there's still a 2025 second rounder as part of this trade. Panthers second rounder.
Well, what could go wrong?
The gift that keeps on giving.
All right. Play of the day. Justin Jefferson had the 97-yard touchdown to the Vikings. And we talked about that. Again, also, one underrated throw from Sam Darnold. I thought it was an incredible throw. Also, shout out to the real hero. The referee on this play outran the Niners.
Roger
safeties.
Sherman, I think, was the first on this. It was a great point. He that was an incredible display of athleticism. Heifetz, why don't you break it down?
I mean, just the referee was just an absolute legend. Like he outran the goddamn safeties on the play. He flipped his hips. He got like
he was
watching
moving
the goal line. He outran the safeties, literally ran a circle around them, and then flipped his hips and then positioned himself to the goal line in case there was going to be a tackle at the goal line. It was incredible.
I can't overstate how impressive it was when he flipped his hips running full speed so he could position himself on the goal line to make sure that Justin Jefferson got over the goal line. Like he was literally running full speed, like jumped and started backpedaling and then stopped right on a dime. Like get this guy in some pads. He was very impressive. This is especially true when you look at some of the, I don't know. It's like, it feels like all the people in the grounds crew, people doing like the markers, the first down markers and stuff are like 80 years old.
Are you calling out that poor man who got sent off today in the Texans game?
It just came to mind. All right, Craig. He tripped over the number marker, whatever it's called.
And a guy almost died in the Ravens game.
I mean, for God's sake, I hope he's okay. Obviously,
I would love
those are what you sounded like.
Do you guys think a referee combine would do well in the ratings? I would watch that. That would be cool.
I think, we should do it.
Imagine Hockey League bench pressing. We got that guy in the Vikings game doing a 40. I would love to watch refs work out.
All right. Well, also wait, while we're here at Play of the Day, we have a historic moment in the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. Our first ever Sunday Daily Double.
Yeah, we stole that.
Nailed
we stole
it.
that idea.
No, we came up with it.
Yeah. No.
We invented that.
Is it
the
worse
Daily Double.
Is it worse if we say we invented it? Or is it better if we say we invented it? Legally.
Oh.
I don't think it makes a difference, Craig.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
This is from Max. Again, so we have follow us at Ringer Fantasy Football on Instagram, TikTok, and then email us ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. And on Sundays, these categories, we're going to post them on Sundays, and then you can just, as you're watching the games, like send us what you're thinking, anyone you want to nominate for these awards. And we're going to take two every freaking Sunday. We're going to do a Daily Double. Max, first one ever. Max nominates for the Play of the Day.
Max.
Malik Willis could not throw a third down pass because the center threw up on the ball.
Like all over it.
Right before the center snapped the ball. He puked on the ball.
Unbelievable. He's literally that moment you see it 10,000 times in your life of just like the little calm before the storm.
Think about how
right before the snap.
The viscous fluids on there.
He's yaks all over the ball.
Ugh.
That's a good strategy though. Like maybe no one wants to rip the fumble out. It's
after the game, Matt LaFleur was like, I went up and asked Malik why he didn't throw the ball on third down. And he said, because the center puked on it. And he's like, I'd never heard that before. And then they went and found it. He literally just like projectile vomited onto his hands.
And the ref was like, next time, do you want us to stop the play? And Matt LaFleur is like, yes, please. I don't want puke on the ball for my quarterback.
Like, next time.
By the way, related to the Packers today, they had 53 rush attempts for 163 yards. I looked it up. Teams have run more than 53 times 11 in 11 games in the last 25 years. So this century, there's been 11 teams that have done more than 53 rush attempts. So what we witnessed was truly remarkable.
Did any of them throw up on the ball?
When you're running that much, it feels likely that may have happened before. Yeah.
I was impressed the announcers immediately came up with left it all on the field. That was like a really good, like in the moment. That was impressive. That was good work from them.
He didn't look phased at all. He didn't it didn't even slow
went
down.
about his business.
Boot and rally, baby. Boot and rally. Craig, any other plays of the day?
I think Cam Taylor-Britt's interception on Mahomes was pretty spectacular. The one-handed pick down the sideline. He's had a really up and down week. He was the one who talked shit about Xavier Worthy, basically saying all he could do was run straight. And then Cam Taylor-Britt got beat by Rashee Rice on like a 50-yard touchdown. But then he kind of made up for it with this interception. So kind of an up and down day. But one of the better picks you're going to see.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Doing it over Worthy, who we talked shit about, was like, that should be worth more points.
Yeah.
Talk your shit, but back it up,
No, that was pretty incredible. Enough about plays of the day. I would like to talk about the worst play of the day. Which is, we might have to name this after Will Levis.
Yeah.
Hey, I was reminded of something on Twitter today. You guys remember when we used to do, well, we still do, the quarterback, the shades of, so like the low end comp and the high end comp for quarterbacks, and my low end comp for Will Levis was Carson Wentz throwing a pick six from his own end zone with his left hand.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's aging very well. So anyways, talk about the worst play of the day.
Will Levis, I think, is becoming the most entertaining player in the NFL. He's perfect. Today, and every week he's delivered. Last week, what's it called? The surrender cobra.
He did the surrender
After he
cobra.
threw the interception. And today... And while scrambling in the red zone, he did this like unbelievable. He was getting rushed in the pocket. He turned and he like jumped forward and horizontally tried to lateral the ball to his running back, which of course didn't work. And
it looked like he was possessed.
Craig, when you put it that way, which of course didn't work.
Of course didn't work. The Jets recovered the ball. Brian Callahan, the coach, they caught him walking up to Levis after the play going, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's so good.
Dude, they asked Brian Callahan after the game, "What did you say to Will?" And he said, "I think the camera caught it pretty clear."
Oh my God.
Dude,
I kind of like Brian Callahan, just like no filter, because he said this last week. He was like, if we would have just punted on first down, we would have won the game. He's so mean, but also like, he's like killing him with, or he's like, how a parent would talk to their child, It's
he's like Dan
Egan
Egan and Veep. It's like, we just punt on first down, we would have fucking won. But
he was like, I was really irritated that he cost us 3 points in a game he probably needed it.
Oh my God. I also love that he asked about it. He said it was dumb. It was the exact same thing he did last week.
He's a grown up and he knows better. So I was really irritated.
He's grown up and he knows better.
Did you guys, speaking of worst plays, did you guys see Bo Nix? I saw a tweet that said Bo Nix got sacked by TJ Watt's aura. Did you see the play where Watt is rushing Bo Nix and like tries to swipe at his ankle? It looked like he missed. Didn't touch him, and Bo Nix just stumbles and goes down like a baby deer.
The way that he fell just didn't make sense. Like by physics, he fell very differently than what would have happened if TJ Watt touched him.
Bill Barnwell tweeted, "Wow, this new Madden engine's all messed up."
Yeah, it looked like it glitched out.
Yeah, it did.
The Bo Nix thing is so fucking funny.
Another guy whose stats are kind of in the Bryce Young range, where it's like this guy can't throw the ball past 5 yards. Historically bad.
So what did he finish? What did he finish today? Denver lost 13-6.
A barn burner.
20 out of 35, 246 yards and 2 picks.
Yeah, they opened it up a little bit later in the game, but first half was brutal.
I lost it, but he's the first quarterback to start his career with like no touchdowns and two picks in each appearance.
Game.
And I don't know, since
Caleb Williams is getting close to that too, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but he
looks pretty different.
The eye test is slightly better, I guess, but yeah.
All right, real and spectacular. Someone who's spectacular today. We got to figure out if it's real. DK.
Malik Neighbors, Heifetz.
Oh my God,
he looks legit. He looks incredible. He looks basically like the next Odell Beckham Jr. He went 10 for 127 and a touchdown on 18 targets. 18 targets. Like Daniel Jones might not be good, but at least he's passing it to Malik Neighbors a lot. I think that's like the main takeaway after 2 weeks. Saw this from Dwayne McFarland. Neighbors has averaged 20 fantasy points per game, 90% route participation, 39% target rate right now, and 56% of the air yards. So basically, they're throwing it to Neighbors on every play, more or less. Like he is the most important person in their offense. He's looked awesome. And yeah, like he passes the eye test. Everything that we were so excited about for him is coming true. So I think he's real. I think this is legit.
Yeah. I mean, he and you know, the Giants could have won the game if he had caught the pass at the end, but he was appropriately heartbroken about it. So it's fine. He's unbelievable. He's the only good part of the team.
It's better that they didn't win though, right?
Don't even get me fucking started. We'll get
this
to
is the
that
best
in a
of both
moment.
worlds. He looks great. You lost.
Exactly.
Are we going to talk about
Positivity.
the stat with the touchdowns and how the Giants are the only team? There's like 2 teams ever that have scored 3 touchdowns, and the opposing team scored 0 touchdowns, and they still lost. Sorry.
That's perfect. This is exactly what you want.
I think that was it. There's 2 teams.
You want to do
ever.
it? You want to do it now? You want me to go in on Dable now?
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
talking about him.
We're gonna save this for the coaching, but fine, fuck it. All right.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm jumping around.
the other daily double. To
Oh.
Dan.
Found it.
You found it.
Found it.
The other daily double. Shout out Dan.
The
who sent
daily
this in.
day ball.
The daily. Oh God. All right. Here's the deal. Here's the fucking tweet. God damn it. Fuck you both. All right. Here's the tweet. Yeah. The Giants became the first team in NFL history to score 3 touchdowns, allow no touchdowns, and lose in regulation. Okay.
In regulation.
Okay. Where to begin? So Brian Dable brought a punter to a kicker fight. This Field Yates, the Commanders' drives today went field goal, field goal, field goal, kneel down to end the first half, field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal. They kicked 7 field goals. They scored 21 points, and they beat the Giants. And they beat the Giants because the Giants did not bring a healthy kicker. The Giants kicker got hurt on Saturday. He hurt his groin, and he was warming up. And at 11:30, all the reporters were like, kicker looks pretty fucking hurt.
Not moving around real well.
Now, did the Giants elevate their kicker from the practice squad to join the game? Of course not. So on the first fucking game, the first goddamn kickoff of the game, Graham Gano boots it. Austin Eckler returns it like 98 yards for a touchdown. They call back for holding. Graham Gano pulls his fucking hamstring chasing down Austin Eckler. The Giants do not have a kicker for this game. They score a touchdown. They bring out the punter to kick an extra point. The punter misses the extra point. I'll get to him in a fucking second. But like, why the fuck can the punters not make the goddamn kick? The kickers can make the punts. Why can't the punters make the kicks? I don't understand. But anyway, I just
Can't do 2 things.
I like the fact that they lost this game that they would have won if they had just showed the fuck up with a goddamn kicker. Just bring the kicker to the game. In fantasy, again, we could be GM. You know what we always say to do? Add fucking kickers before kickoff. Anyway, what I can't get over with Brian Dable is after the game, they were like, hey, why didn't you have a healthy kicker? Like, he had a groin injury. And Brian Dable's like, yeah, but he hurt his hamstring.
They're pretty close to each other.
Yeah. And then they're like, don't you think that's related? And he's like, well, I'm not a doctor.
Can't prove it.
Kind of got you there.
How about you? Yeah. And they're like, wait.
Can't prove it.
And they're like, well, don't you think a guy who's hurt running might get hurt? And he's like, yeah, anyone can get hurt.
Again, got you there.
I'm fucking done. I'm done. I'm done with the
Unassailable logic.
I'm out on Brian Dable today. I'm telling you both right now, I'm out on Dable. Like I was disgusted. They literally couldn't acknowledge that they had made a mistake.
The Panthers are easily the most sad team in the NFL, but somehow I feel like the Giants are sadder. I don't know why. it's like expectations, I guess. Sorry, Havens. The Giants are just so sad. And I keep coming back to the realization, the epiphany that we had the other day, that the entire time I've known you, I think you've rooted for them to win like 4 times. Like that playoff game that they went to.
He's been trusting the process since before he met Jackie.
It's like we're going on a decade here.
They've been so fucking bad. No, it's true. I never realized how long they've been bad for like until we had that conversation like 2
Also,
weeks
it's
ago.
like, do you remember like 5 years ago when I was telling you how mad I am about the Giants because they don't score touchdowns, and they fucking scored touchdowns today and they still lost.
Yeah. I was like, that was like 3 cities ago where I lived, and they still can't score any fucking
3
touchdowns.
cities ago.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Anyway.
boy.
All right, wait. Now we're jumping around. Any other coaches that you guys are mad at?
I thought that Sean Payton made a curious decision in the end of the Broncos
Idiotic.
Steelers
Idiotic.
game. So
Can
they're
somebody
down.
explain that to me?
They're
Yeah,
down
so what
7,
happened with this?
down 7 with 1:54 left, I believe, and 1 timeout left. They kicked it instead of doing an onside kick. So they kicked it to the other team. And then they forced a 3-and-out, which is exactly what they were trying to do. And more or less like their plan worked. And the plan got them the ball back with 8 seconds to go, needing 81 yards, like needing to go 81 yards with 8 seconds. So
You know it's bad when Scott Hansen was like, curious coaching decision of Sean Payton. Like, even if everything goes well, they're going to get the ball with 20 seconds or less and no timeouts. And they are yet refusing to onside kick. And it didn't work out. It went exactly as Scott Hansen outlined.
Well, you know why? It's because Sean Payton's a genius.
Yeah, we
Sean
don't get
Payton,
it.
it's because Patrick Mahomes was able to get that field goal in 13 seconds, and he has just as much confidence in Bo Nix as he did in Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Well,
I thought
maybe next
Nate
week.
Tice, by the way, had a really interesting tweet today that pointed out it was just it was like a replay of Bo Nix in the huddle, just trying to get a play call communicated to his team, and that I think it was such a important reminder of just like how hard it is for these rookie quarterbacks to come in and know the entire playbook like the back of their hand, be able to communicate it from the coach to the players and get it all together. Basically what happened was Bo Nix spent a very long time trying to get the play call read out to the offense in the huddle. They ended up breaking the huddle with, I don't know, it was like 12 seconds left on the play clock, got to the line and basically ran out of time to snap the ball because he was just trying to get the play call in to the huddle. To me, that like is such a perfect example why it's so just incredibly difficult to be a rookie quarterback, because it's just, I mean, even that is like incredibly difficult to just remember and say the play calls.
My coach, Arthur Smith coach moment was, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not upset that Mike Tomlin did this. I more just think it's funny. Russell Wilson got a game ball today.
The petty game ball.
The petty game ball. I just love that. So Tomlin does this for when players face their old teams. He'll give you petty game balls. But I just love that Russ didn't play and his backup won the game. And as his backup is like sitting there like a gladiator after fighting in the war, like Russ is just clean sitting there in the locker room, like in his suit and tie, hasn't sweat once the entire day. And Tomlin's like, "Here you go, Russ. Here's a game ball. This is for you." And Russ
this
is like,
is the
"Thanks,
money
the
ball
backup's
that-
taking my job."
Also, he's still getting massive checks from the Broncos.
Well, it's the
probably.
Moneyball David Justice of like, yeah, they're paying you to not be there, bud.
Yeah, but there
Right,
you
you
go.
know?
Anyway, you're not getting your job back, but here's this ball.
Yeah,
Here's this ball. Craig, do you think that Fields has won the job then? Do you think
yeah.
they'll
What are you
actually
gonna
do it?
bench him. He won 2 road games.
Yeah,
I
not going to
know.
bench him till he probably loses 2 in a row.
Okay.
I know we got off this, but while we're on Real and Spectacular, I just also want to shout out J.K. Dobbins is Raheem Mostert, and J.K. Dobbins.
He looks good.
He had another just incredible day for the Chargers.
You know you're feeling good when you've coming off a torn ACL and a torn Achilles, and you're doing a front flip into the end zone.
Yeah.
That is a real flex.
And then Harbaugh went
Medically.
on like an extended, literally a flex. 17 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. And inspired Jim Harbaugh to go on an extended rant about how he can't do a front flip.
And that he's tried. He said he's tried on trampolines and once on flat
He's
ground.
tried from many different
Yeah.
platforms. Off
He-
the trampoline, off the
Yeah.
diving board.
And off flat ground. I want to focus on that. That's pretty dangerous for somebody. Hopefully he was young when he tried that. He said he stops halfway through. He stops spinning in the air halfway through. He can't finish the second half of the flip.
Harbaugh is
really dangerous.
Do you think that's how he got like this? He landed on his head?
Probably, yeah. That's why he's so good. Well, also just lingering here in the real or spectacular category. On the Chargers, Quentin Johnston, the receiver. I'm not sure what's going on. He had 2 touchdowns today. He once again led the team in receiving. This dude couldn't beat out DJ Chark, and now he's the number 1 player in the passing game. Do we just throw out last year? Was it so bad that we just can't judge anybody on their play? Was it like the Urban Meyer Jags, and now Quentin Johnston is just a first round wide receiver and a new offense? Is that what I'm supposed to do, DK?
I honestly don't know. I don't know, because I think my first reaction, Craig, when he scored his first touchdown, I was like, okay, that was fluky. But it does feel like they are trying to like feature him in their offense.
He leads all receivers in snaps and routes. Josh Palmer is second, but he's first in snaps and routes.
The context there that's important, which it may not end up mattering long term, is DJ Chark is hurt. Josh Palmer didn't practice all week. He had a hamstring or a knee injury. He was like in the medical tent in this game. Like, this was a very good game by Quentin Johnston, but like I still am not sure if this is actually like a signal or just sort of noise because there's a bunch of injuries at their
it's the
receiver
Carolina
position
Panthers.
right now. Okay. Yeah. Also, but like, I do want to give room for the idea that Quentin Johnston could improve. Like when he was drafted, the story on him, the scouting report on him was he's pretty raw and he might need some time to develop. He's a rare special athlete and could move different for a guy that is his size and weight, or height and weight or whatever. So like, I want to leave some room for the idea that he could end up improving. Like, I think that's possible.
I think it's the funniest thing that could happen after my Josh Palmer take. It's the funniest outcome.
The first round pick's good. Yeah. I also, just speaking of which, I just want to shout out Brock Bowers real quick, who is incredible. And Brock Bowers, obviously Devontae Adams is the number 1 receiver on the Raiders. The Raiders beat the Ravens today. But there were times where you watch the Raiders offense and you're kind of like, this whole thing is built around this rookie who's played 2 games. I feel like Kyle Pitts ruined us hyping up Brock Bowers, because Brock Bowers is much better than Kyle Pitts. And he actually plays all over the formation, unlike Kyle Pitts. And he had 9 catches for 98 yards today.
Also, it feels like Gardner Minshew is the perfect quarterback for like a mediocre fantasy team, because he's not creative enough to like do really crazy stuff, but he's good enough to just pass it to like the 2 best players over and over and get the ball to them.
They won. Yeah,
sure, of course. But it's like he did it with Michael Pittman last year. He's kind of done it his whole career. Like, he's just going to throw to Brock Bowers and Devontae Adams over and over, and he's good enough to put it in the right spot, but he's not good enough to kind of do other stuff.
I'm not saying I could be an NFL quarterback. I already established I can be a coach. Just do motion, throw it to likely.
Yeah.
Also, if I was an NFL quarterback, I would throw it to the best players all the time.
No,
that's what I would do.
That's good stuff.
I think that would be the way that I would approach quarterbacking in the NFL.
Speaking of which, important segment here. We have to go down to Fart or Shart.
Yep.
Craig. Mm-hmm. Travis Kelce, 1 catch for 5 yards today. 4 catches in the whole season. Do you think 1 catch, 5 yards today, do you think that was a fart or a Shart?
I'm going fart, probably, for Trav.
Nothing to worry about.
I don't think anything came out. I think you're able to go about your day. I think you're all right. It's been rough. It's been a flatulent first 2 weeks, I would say. He's had 4 catches. Wait, he has 6 fantasy points in 2 weeks, Travis Kelce.
Good God.
But I think the ascendance of Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy being there, I do think that Mahomes is spreading the ball around a little bit more. Travis Kelce is like a 13% target share, which isn't great. 7 targets in 2 weeks, not great. But he had a catch that came down to the 1. He almost scored today. He had a 40-yard pass called back for holding. So we're still in fart territory, but like, I got my eye on it. DK.
Yeah.
Do you think what's going on with Terry McLaurin on this Washington offense with Jaden Daniels at quarterback is a fart or a shart?
I'm kind of worried it's a Shart.
Yeah. I just love when DK says shart. I just love making him say that.
There are times when my son Calvin will fart, and I'll be like, "All right, I think we need to go check and see if something came out." That sounded really wet. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the feeling I have. That's like a very, very similar feeling I have right now with Terry McLaurin. I'm like, okay, we probably should go to the bathroom and make sure that like you didn't just poop your pants.
It sounded wet, McLaurin's performance today. It sounded wet.
So McLaurin, through 2 games, has 8 catches for 39 yards. And the problem is, like, obviously I do think that Jaden Daniels will start to like settle in. Like all these rookie quarterbacks, we're trying to give them a little bit of leeway because I think we were all spoiled by CJ Stroud just being immediately awesome last year. Like normally rookie quarterbacks suck for a while and then they start to like learn it all and put it all together. So as the season goes on, I can see McLaurin, being a little more reliable. But right now, like I don't really know how you can start him. Until this offense changes. Also, by the way, Kingsbury's doing the whole Kingsbury thing where he just lines up his best receiver on the left and asks him to run routes from the same spot every play. Like, again, I could be an NFL coach. I would simply not do that. I would line him up in multiple spots, and I would have him run in motion so I could throw to my best receiver. You know what I mean? Like, that would be a strategy that I would utilize personally.
Kingsbury, something about it reminds me of Reese Bobby, where he's just like, all right, Jaden, I got 5 pounds of Colombian Bam Bam under your car. You know what I mean? Like it's like all the instructors like, I got a cougar. It's like, all right, we're gonna line up everyone in the same place on every play, no motion. It's like, why? It's like, you know what I mean? Just like there's a cougar. It's like, it's just all vibes. None of it makes any fucking sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think like right now, you probably just need. It's very hard for me because I've done this in a few leagues where like I see McLaurin's name there and I'm like, I have to start McLaurin. Yeah. Because I don't like I have all these other like random guys that get off the waiver wire or whatever on my bench, but Terry McLaurin is still there. But I don't think you can start him until like this offense gets things smoothed out. So no, I'm a little bit afraid this is a Shart.
You got to clean that Shart up. All right, next up, the Lucille Bluth. I don't understand the stat line, and I won't respond to it a word. All right. The one that leapt out to me was there was a point in the Raiders-Ravens game where Alex Madison had 3 carries for -2 yards and a touchdown.
That's like, how is a cloud 1,000,000 pounds?
Yeah, a cloud.
How do you have negative yards? And
I'm like, this is my job. And I'm like, what the fuck happened here? So, yeah.
That's funny.
Mine is that Malik Willis outscored Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Anthony Richardson with 13 points.
Wow. That's good.
Don't you love this game that we play?
Mine was the Indianapolis Colts I saw a tweet about this. Indianapolis Colts receiving yards through 2 games. 181, Alec Pierce. 67, Ashton Doolin.
Real person.
52, Michael Pittman. Yep. In 3rd place. Not great.
No, it's not.
I was trying to stay true to the I won't respond to it part.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Alec Pierce had the rare, like, he blew up week 1 and was the clear guy. Like, no one was going to add off waivers because they knew that was a fluke. But then he scored a touchdown today. Yeah. That rarely happens when the random guy pops off and then he follows it up with another touchdown the next week.
Totally.
Alex Pierce right now. Alec.
Whatever.
I don't know why, but that's really funny.
What's he gonna do? Come get us,
Alec Pierce, the wide receiver 5 right now.
Sure.
Total, overall. Yeah.
Yep.
Totally normal thing.
I would like to share one intrusive thought I had today. I don't know if you guys have any. My intrusive thought that I had today was whoever let Devin Singletary wear Saquon's number this season should go to prison.
I actually can't believe they let that happen.
That person should be in jail.
Do you think it's also weird that Devin Singletary was like, I want Saquon's number?
Yes.
That's fucking weird.
Is that his number before?
Who gives a shit?
Good question.
I think that I think it actually was. But like, I think that if he
It
asks,
was. It was.
Oh,
you
it's less
say
weird.
okay, but you say no.
Yeah, now it's
He's like,
all
why
on the
do I have to
Giants.
change my name? He's the one who sucks. Michael Bolton. He's like, I'm not changing my number. He's the one who sucks.
Okay, now it's back on the Giants organization for letting him do that.
no,
I get why he
team-
wanted it because that's his
The
number.
team, I can't believe they let him do that.
Yeah.
Hey, he looked pretty good today, man.
Shut
Yeah.
up.
I
It was
mean,
awful.
relative to
Today sucked.
expectation.
Sure. Silver lining. Absolutely.
Today sucked, DK. Today, you know what? Don't get you. I feel so stupid rooting for this team. I feel so dumb. That's my intrusive thoughts every day. I feel fucking dumb watching football, rooting like all the other games are so fun. All the other teams have cool players, and mine thinks that they should wear tan pants that makes their players' legs look fucking naked. Like they're so fucking dumb. Anyway, they had 100 years to figure out the pants. They couldn't figure out the pants in week 1. Holy shit. A dumb fucking team. Anyway. All right. We're going to give Kyle Pitts a week off for 2 tight ends. He's escaped this to begin the season because they got
I know.
Falcons are Monday night. So we're going to give Kyle Pitts. All right.
What's he up to?
Can I point something out real quick along the lines of the Kyle Pitts thing? Jared Wiley had more receiving yards today than Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Thought that
Oh,
was
and that
fun.
was the weird
Thought that was
catch
super fun.
too. Because it like he caught it and then someone popped it up and he caught it back. That was weird. It was like 2 catches in 1 play. All right.
Yeah, it's like doubly as good as what Kelce did today.
Burn book. I have a nominee. Do you guys have any nominees?
Our producer suggested Terry McLaurin, and I think that's valid.
I
Carlos.
would like to nominate Christian Kirk, who had
Oh.
1 catch
That's a perfect
and
one.
lost
Yes.
a yard.
Do you want to know? I had Christian Kirk on my bench this morning. Evan Ingram goes down, warming up. He injures his hamstring. I'm like, okay, fine. That's the sign from heaven that I can start Christian Kirk. Like he's gonna get all those like crossing routes and stuff that Evan Ingram does. It's gonna be fine. Here's my signal that I can start Christian Kirk. Never again, under no circumstances, am I gonna start Christian Kirk. This is the perfect one. He's in the burn book. He's out.
Christian Kirk, and in your godforsaken point per reception scoring, Christian Kirk lost yards for the Jacksonville Jaguars today and got a point.
This is a really good one. Brian
He caught
Thomas
the ball.
is immediately became the best receiver on this team and already looks awesome. We should absolutely burn Christian Kirk.
Yeah. He has
McLaurin is on deck. We'll see what happens in week 3.
You're on probation. Yeah, Christian Kirk, you're in the fucking burn book. All right.
The Jags are a mess.
I think they played the Browns, and the Browns have a very good defense. Having said that, the Jags cannot pass protect, and they're a disaster. What else is new?
How many teams are disasters? How many teams would you say right now are disasters?
No. All right. Disaster.
Even like it's all right. We can be hyperbolic. Who's in the hyperbolic?
Panthers.
The Panthers, the Giants.
Panthers,
the
Giants
Browns.
are catastrophes.
Are the Browns a disaster?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The Browns
a
are
disaster, even though they won.
Yeah, no,
Whatever.
they're fucking
Disaster.
disasters. No Browns fans gonna fight us on that. They're a disaster.
Is
The
Denver a disaster?
Denver.
Denver is a slow motion disaster because Sean Payton's going to give up on the starting
They
quarterback.
traded for Sean Payton.
Yeah. That's a disaster. Who else?
The Titans.
Titans are sneaky
I would
disaster.
actually argue. Yeah,
I don't know about disaster.
This
but-
season or disaster. I think the difference with the Titans is if you Will Levis is a rental, and they're going to swap his ass out. And as soon as you plug in another quarterback, that team could be very good next year. None of the
very good.
All right, fine. The Rams.
But I agree, they're not a disaster.
The Rams this season are a disaster because
Disaster.
every player except Stafford's hurt, and Stafford's been limping. Stafford was limping like.
I just can't wait for Snead to make some like wild trade where he trades like 3 first-round picks to get like a guy so they can make a run at this thing this year. I just want
no.
that to
They're
happen.
going to make a trade for a trainer. They're going to get like a surgeon or a doctor or something on staff.
By the way, Greg Rosenthal made this point today, and we talk about this all the time, but like the Rams are literally the team that doesn't play anybody in the preseason because they're worried about them getting hurt, and then they leave their starters in garbage time when they're up by 30. What is happening?
Dude. It's my least favorite thing in sports is watching a coach keep their player in during a blowout. Makes no sense to me.
Like literally all your players are getting hurt. Why are you doing this?
Dude, I would be load managing my players. I know that's like sacrilege in football. I think it's super smart they put McCaffrey on IR. I'd be sitting my dudes once every month just to keep them loose.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Travis Kelce, once a month, you're off. Go to a concert with Taylor. You're off. I'm good with that.
All right.
So we
Thank
got
you.
five
PTO.
disasters. Five disasters right now. We'll see.
Is
if
there
this
any more?
No, I think
Wait,
that's
so
right.
sorry. Can you say them all over
The
again?
disasters are
We
the
have the-
Giants,
Yep.
the Panthers,
Yep.
the Rams for this season,
Broncos.
the Broncos.
I think the Jags are kind of a disaster.
How many games do they have to win to not be a disaster, though? They almost beat the Dolphins last week.
Almost.
They should be 2-0.
So is
The
it only
Jags,
four
the
disasters?
Jags offensive line's a disaster. I don't think the Jags are a disaster.
So
The
it's
Jags
just-
are on disaster watch. How about that?
Disaster watch. So it's just Broncos, Rams, Giants, Panthers. That's
There's
it.
people talking about
That sounds right.
Doug Peterson getting fired today. I feel like 2 games in, if you're talking about firing the coach, that's kind of a disaster.
You know,
I think they're a disaster relative to expectations. That's fair.
Okay.
Because like the fact that you're the Jaguars and you had the lead you did in the AFC South of like you had Trevor Lawrence and now you're like 0-2 and the Texans are 2-0 and you're like, holy shit, we're gonna waste. another
Trevor
season
Lawrence
of this
said in
guy.
the post-game presser, I think this was real, that we suck right now.
It's okay, fine. They're a fucking disaster.
Hold on. I'm going to see if that's real. Trevor Lawrence, we suck. I just Googled
That should be
it.
like a little
Yeah,
like mile marker
suck
on the
right
way. Like if we have to Google if your post-game press conference quotes are real, then
If your quarterback says
automatically-
we suck right now, things are not going
he
good.
didn't even say that his face was in the Lord.
In Trevor Banks Stadium.
Dude, they named the stadium after him and no one even gave a shit. That's how, oh my God. All right. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Kai and Carlos, for producing this episode. Thank you, Kira. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone behind the scenes. Thank you, everyone. Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. We will have our week 3 rankings available on Thursday for start sit, Monday waivers, Wednesday power hour, Friday preview. And of course, on Sundays, email us, comment, everything. Follow our socials, Instagram, TikTok, everything.
Daily
And-
double.
Boom. Sunday categories. Thank you, Lauren.
Lauren.
Thank you, Soldier Boy.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Why Soldier Boy? Was he on your mind?
I don't know. Soldier Boy, I told you. He was
This is Soldier Boy. Tell him.
I don't know. It's definitely possible I misquoted it.
Have you DK?
Soldier Boy. Tell him. What is that even from? Soldier Boy. Tell him.
DK, have you ever done the dance in your life?
No. Definitely not.
Not even a little bit? Not even the one move?
To be honest, I don't know what dance you're referencing. Are you talking about like this the scoot thing? I don't even know what to call it.
There's a whole dance to his song, Crank That.
Yeah, no, I haven't done that.
Crank That Soldier Boy? You haven't
I feel like
cranked
it's
that
like the
Soldier Boy?
defining Soldier Boy experience.
I feel like the fact I don't know how to describe what the dance is. Like it has a very specific name. That should have been a dead giveaway that I've never done it.
It's just crazy that you know him enough to say it as a sponsor of the show, and yet you don't know the Soldier Boy dance.
I agree. I feel like it's like the dance is 80% of what Soldier Boy is, 20% the meme.
Yeah.
Of him on the show. Also, Carlos hit us up to be like the Dolphins are a disaster and deserve to be in the disaster watch.
Oh,
It's- yeah.
well, that's maybe fair. They're a sad disaster.
Yeah. Just
All
sad
the other
term.
ones are kind of funny. The Dolphins is sad.
It's true.
All right, DK, go
Wait,
learn
do
the
you
dance.
do you guys do Crank That? Can you do the dance?
I can't. I don't remember the whole dance, but I've done it. You know,
The bar mitzvah circuit.
I'm not
Hello,
proud of
come
it,
on.
but
Yeah.
we've all done it. Okay,
Gun to
we've
your
all
head,
been there.
you could execute it.
I went to high school in the early 2010s. All
Yeah,
right, we all
come on.
did that.
If it's just as yeah.
It was all the rage. Look, the bar mitzvah circuit, those was all the rage.
Now watch me. You know, Liz the other day was like, "Do you sing now at the end of every show?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Feels like you've been singing a lot."
Feels like you've been singing a lot.
I was like, "You're welcome."
Goodbye, everyone.